factoring. So I've put together a few videos on how to go through factoring, and hopefully it'll make it not as scary as you often think of factoring. A lot of times when we hear factoring, we're like, oh man, that's like the F word of math. You know, everybody hates factoring. It's really not that bad. It's hopefully these videos, I made some short videos for our website where we have we'll go through how I factor, and over the years the different methods that I've used, and I kind of steer towards a specific method that I recommend you using. So we will do this, and we'll run through a video of each of these basically, but I'm going to first talk about in this short video how I factor. When I factor, I look at a polynomial that's given to me, and I first take out GCF, always, no matter what it is. Doesn't matter what size it is, your first step is kind of the golden rule of factoring. Take that GCF out. Once you take out that GCF, then you look at what's left, the polynomial that's left, and then you try and factor that completely. If you do not take out a GCF, oftentimes you cannot factor a polynomial completely, or it may not even be factorable at all until you take that GCF out. So you have to be really, really careful. And always look for that first. And then the GCF is just going to be a factor in itself. So step one, got to do this. Next step, I identify the number of terms, and then if it's 4 terms, I just factor by grouping. And so I will pair them up and take out the GCF of each pair. And then the next step will be you'll have a common binomial factor that you'll take out if it's factorable by the integers. So we'll show you how to do that. In the 3-term ones, there's 2 types. When A is 1, the leading coefficient is 1, then I recommend just factoring the quick way, and we'll talk about that. I mean, you can also do it by the other methods when A is not 1, but it's just easier to do it the quick way. When A is not 1, I'm steering people now towards the crisscross method. I really, really like it. I show all 3 methods in my traditional courses, and I would say 75–80% of the people pick crisscross. The others, generally, if they're familiar with the method and already know how to use it, they'll use it, but it really, really is nice. It's a great method. I definitely recommend it. Now, I learned by trial and error, it's called, where I just jump to it, factor the thing. I'm the type of person where if I get a present or something and it requires putting it together, I'll just put it together and not read the directions, and then maybe I have extra pieces, I'll save them for later. But what the deal is, so if you like, just jumping to the answer, you can actually just do trial and error. It's a great method. I actually really, really recommend that one as well. There's another method that's great. It's very systematic. We call it the AC or grouping method. Oftentimes people just teach that and they really, really like it. It's great. It's systematic. They're all good, but the thing is, it's too time consuming personally. I believe for certain problems, you can look at a big problem. If it has large numbers, the factor's really large, it can take you twice as much time, twice as much paper to do a problem where you could have did it kind of quicker just using the crisscross or trial and error. Now, you pick what you like though. I totally think that, sometimes we think different. Everybody sees things differently. One method might work better. Use the other method then. It's totally fine. So I'll show you actually in the videos. I'll show you all 3 methods, but I'm going to steer you towards that one. It's a great method. There's actually more than 3 methods. There's called modified AC and some others too, graphical way, but we're actually just going to look at the 3 methods. And then 2 terms, we will factor those using special factoring formulas, and so those formulas, I first of all identify if there's difference or sum of 2 squares or difference sum of 2 cubes, and then factor accordingly using those formulas. And I'll show you ways to remember those formulas. They're pretty much you only have one main formula, 2 formulas to remember out of all of the 4 of those scenarios, and I'll show you how to identify that in each of those short videos.